The Shredd and Ragan Show, afternoons.
Matt Paxton on with us from A&E's Hoarders. It's Shredd and Ragan Show at the Edge. He's got a book coming out on May 3rd. But I almost thought, I know you've got to build trust with a guy like that, but I almost thought it was like telling a child your dog went to the farm and that they, oh yeah, no, trust us, we're going to take the rats and they'll be fine. They actually found a home?
I think like 1,500 have already been adopted, and you hit on a really interesting part. Like, Dr. Sazio and I have to sometimes play good cop, bad cop, and this was one where this guy just really liked Dr. Sazio. So we ended up letting her be point, and she really took charge, and she got the trust from Glenn. He never really emotionally attached to me.
Right.
But she was the one that got the trust on that one, and she's the one that convinced him to let them all go.
What did they do with the house after you've torn it basically to pieces and gotten most of the rats out?
Yeah, I mean, that thing had to be stripped all the way down to the studs, and it was aluminum studs, and that was all that was left. And he's slowly rebuilding. But he was spending $1,000 a month in rat food. So the guy's, all of a sudden he's got a lot more money. So he's going to eventually fix that house back up.
Have you checked in with him recently to find out how he is?
I know the guys went back and met with him a couple weeks ago. We actually filmed him for an update show.
Yeah.
So we are updating every single hoarder we've worked with in the last 3 years.
Matt,
will that be part of season 4 then?
That is part of season 4, correct?
Matt Paxton on with us, and it's Hoarders Week, and they're filming season 4 right now. I want to play for you the woman though who filled the bags, and this is where you try to understand hoarding, but this one's a tough one to understand. So give this a listen.
Midday today, I was told there were some trash bags that could go, and in typical hoarding style, it turns out there was more to those bags than we thought. And when I confronted her, that was her bathroom, that was her portage on it.
Well, it's embarrassing. Not everybody's business what happened. It just got out of hand for us. We couldn't keep up on it.
I mean, it was bags and bags and bags, and I know it's often
10 years of human feces.
Yeah. So I mean, Matt, tell us first of all about cleaning that up. What's that like?
That was probably the worst point of my life to be, and I've been in some pretty low places. I mean, it was awful. It was just a wall of poop, and you couldn't shovel it, because if you shoveled it, each bag would break open, and then the smell was unbearable. So you had to hand move each bag, and it was kind of like a flapjack. I mean, it was disgusting, and it was 10 years of feces, and that's the point where you just, luckily my past helps. I've been embarrassed like that. I've been low, and you know what? No matter how bad it was for me to clean it, it was worse for her to admit it. So that's the point where you just have to kind of suck it up, because you know what? If no one else is going to do that but me, so I just had to do it.
So you didn't call the rookie in on that one?
I was the rookie on that one. There was no one else that to do it.
No way. I mean,
that is a point where you want to just freak out and lose it. But if we had done that, it would have ruined our trust. It would have set us back for 10 years. If you probably would have just kicked us out of the house.
Right.
So you just have to take it for the team and do it.
You've gotten to know people like that, and her. And so, how did she get to the point where she went one day, this is the new normal?
Well, I always compare it to like a guy that drinks at lunch. You got a buddy that has one beer at lunch, no big deal, and all of a sudden he has 2 beers, and 3 years later you meet him and he's a drunk, living under the bridge, and he drinks all day. I mean, it's not, you eat every day. The best way to say it is, I think of what decision it was to poop in the corner of your house the first time. That had to have been horrible.
Right.
And then every time it's like, well, I'll just do it real quick. And I'll do it one more time. Then all of a sudden you're doing it every day. I mean, you got to be really low at a really bad place, and no one wants to live that way.
Yeah.
So I just try to focus on how bad. I know where I was at the lowest point in my life. Man, they must have been a lot lower, and I'm just glad she didn't kill herself. I'm glad she's still here to be embarrassed.
Yeah, I got you. So that sounds a little bit of how we played it out. All right, so yesterday we talked to Dr. Zazio. This is Matt Paxton on from A&E's Hoarders. Yesterday we talked to Dr. Zazio about what to look for if someone might have those tendencies of being a hoarder. What we want to ask you about is, let's say we know a hoarder and we're trying to get them to give up their stuff. You deal with this on a regular basis. How do you get them to do it? What do you have any tips?
Absolutely. The first thing I want to make sure everybody understands is the worst thing you could do is to go in and take it without them knowing. That's a complete violation of trust, and they'll freak out, and it'll ruin your chances of cleaning it. Believe it or not, the best way to be successful is we tell families to actually be patient and stop talking about the mess. Start talking about regular life again, because really, when the house gets that bad, the communication is only about the house. Like, go out, get ice cream, get coffee, start focusing on what life could be like after the house has been cleaned. And then this is the worst part, everybody hates it, you have to let the hoarder be in control. You have to pick a very small 2-foot area. I call it a 10-minute sweep. And we just pick a 10-minute sweep and see if the hoarder is able to let go of anything.
Interesting. Okay, and then if you can get them to do that, go back and do a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more.
If you look at a house as a whole, as one big whole job, it's impossible. It's unfathomable to think that it could do it because it took 20 years to fill the house.
Right.
There's no way. You just can't put your mind around cleaning it. But if you focus on small 1-foot by 1-foot areas, there might be 5,000 of those.
Right.
But you get a success. Your goal is achievable, and you get an achievable goal every single day. And so instead of telling the hoarder that they're a failure, you're telling them every day that they've succeeded.
Okay.
And that starts to build confidence again.
Matt, what's the longest that you spent on one house cleaning it up?
Oh, man. We worked with one lady for a year, and we only really got 2 rooms done.
Wow.
And she ended up dying, so we didn't get to finish it. But we cleaned the rest of the house in 2 weeks with the family.
Wow.
Some people, they can only do like an hour a day because they're so physically and mentally really drained. Some people can bang it out in 3 days. I mean, we've cleaned, a 10,000 square foot home that was filled. I mean, ceiling to basement full. We cleaned that out in a week. And then some people really might take a year just to get one room clean.
Wow. Yeah, because it seemed like, for example, Darth Tater woman, remember that episode?
Yeah, Darth Tater, yeah.
Darth Tater, man, she wasn't giving up anything.
I wouldn't have worked with her, to be honest. She wasn't letting anything go, and she was still trying to she didn't want her life back yet. She was cleaning that house because she was going to lose it to the county.
Yeah, I got you.
And so there's a big difference, man. I got to know that you want your life back and that you're going to try hard.
Wow.
Because I won't clean your house a second time. I only do it once. So if you're not ready to get your life back and put the effort forward, I'm not interested in working with you.
Matt Paxton on. Last thing, Matt, I find, your story amazing, too, because we didn't realize a lot of the backstory that, got you to this point. I don't know. I mean, life's kind of random, but it just seemed like it gave you an opportunity to do something pretty decent. Do you look back on it and think to yourself, I can't believe I'm doing what I'm doing today?
Oh, I love it, man. People pay me to talk, and I get paid to clean up nasty stuff. It's awesome, and I do think it's related. I think I'm being rewarded for working through all that hard crap that happened 20 years ago. And I tell my hoarders that. I say, look, you could actually, this could be the best thing that ever happened to you if you let it.
Yeah.
All good comes out of all bad, and this is where I start to become kind of a motivational speaker. But thank God I lost everything when I was 25 gambling. And that was really my lowest point. I got beat up by a bookie and lost a lot of money, and I had to start over. And thank God I did, because I'm able to tell that story every day to my hoarders, and they know, man, I can maybe my life's not over. I can start doing good things. And we have hoarders that have totally changed their lives around, and now they go around helping other hoarders. Interesting.
Matt Paxton on A&E's Hoarders, Season 4 being filmed right now. We'll be in touch because we want to know more once Season 4 kicks in, so thanks for coming on.
Hey, guys, thanks so much. Call us anytime.
Shredd and Ragan Afternoons. Rock Radio 103.3 The Edge.